Good to be back. I was the master's class of 2012. While here was a GK12 fellow. Is that program still running, Chris? Do we still have a GK12 program?
In one form, but the funding is run out. Yeah.
Okay. So it was fantastic. I worked sustainability programs in public schools here. Did a lot around food systems, so that was kind of my space. Worked with Hallie Aiken and a few other people in this room, looking at food insecurity here in Phoenix, looking at agricultural systems in general, and just having a lot of fun asking questions about food and where it should live in the sustainability sphere. Also, this is mostly for Andrew Krause, but if you Google food waste ASU, this photo comes up. So like Natalie, I spent a lot of time digging through trash and doing applied research here on campus and really trying to embrace that idea of the living laboratory. So using Phoenix, using campus to do that. I moved to Los Angeles after graduating and kind of continued that same pathway, started in higher ed and founded a sustainability program at Marymount University in Los Angeles. Did that for a few years and decided that I was ready for a change and wanted to move to a business environment and private sector. So I landed here at Reformation, or Resurrection, or Vindication. I don't know, you can decide what you want to call it. We are a women's fashion brand in Los Angeles. We design and manufacture our own stuff, actually within the same roof. So we take vertical integration pretty seriously and literally. And I'll tell you a little bit about what we're up to. So our mission is to lead and inspire a sustainable way to be fashionable. We kind of saw that the landscape of sustainable fashion, you have a lot in activewear, sportswear, very little in ready-to-wear and higher-end fashion. And there's a lot of people buying that stuff and looking for more sustainable options, and it really is continues to be sort of a gap in the market. So our CEO and founder started Reformation in 2009 as really a response to that. She had run successful brands before that and became a little bit disillusioned by the impact of fashion, went to China and saw those impacts, environmental and social, firsthand when she was designing a line for Urban Outfitters, and said, I gotta do something different. Closed down her shop and opened this the next year. So what does more sustainable, I'm saying more sustainable because it's still a pretty rough industry, as some of you might know. What does more sustainable fashion look like, and what are we up to? This is really a brag slide. So this is our CEO and founder. Another thing when you think about the sustainable fashion space is you sort of think of granola fashion. You sort of think of like the hemp natural dress or blouse or whatever that might be. It's really difficult to find things that people really want to wear, event wear, or more like urban lifestyle clothing. So the New York Times called us the eco-label, the cool girls pick. We get featured in Vogue and other high fashion outlets as really a leader, not just in sustainability, but in design and product. So we do really take that product forward approach to say, let's make something that people want to buy or going to buy anyways, and then do it in the most sustainable way possible. We start with fabric. So we still source our fabric through a few different channels. One is vintage, so we buy bulk vintage, reused product, retailer it, refashion it, and have that be a part of our product category. We also source dead stock, so it's basically the excess, the over-ordered fabric from other brands and from fabric suppliers. And then we develop our own new fabrications using mostly like plant-based cellulosics. We actually don't source synthetics, so we call them fossil fuel fabrics. We don't source fossil fuel fabrics. We also don't source cotton, just given its tremendous water and land impact. We try to take that sustainability ethos outside of just the product, but in how we operate and how we make things and how we even retail. So we run sustainability initiatives within our factory and headquarters, everything from zero waste composting programs to energy efficient fixtures to fair wage standards and things that are really top of mind in the garment manufacturing industry, even when you're doing it domestically. We sell just direct to consumers, so we have an e-com platform as well as 3 stores, and our stores is another really great brick and mortar kind of experience that you can create and tell your brand story and engage customers around sustainability. So that's one of our storefronts or the sidewalk. It's not exactly the storefront, the sidewalk in front of our Soho store in New York. So what exactly do I do there? I wear a few different hats. I really started as a sustainability manager, owning kind of what is that brand story and what is that sustainability ethos. So what do we want our mission to be? What does that translate to in terms of values? And then from there, how do you operationalize it? Very quickly, that led into sourcing and R&D for new fabrics. So I spend a lot of time talking to different fiber developers and fabric mills and set our standards for how we source. Just like any other brand, we still have to do vendor compliance and build out really the more regulatory side of the brand, and so we're responsible to do all of our third-party audits and certifications throughout our supply chain. I help run our manufacturing business, so our capacity planning and how we make things. I've learned a lot about sewing pod structures, if anyone wants to talk about efficient sewing manufacturing. So I help run our supply chain, our facilities, so we're growing really quickly, which is a good thing. And so we are building new facilities every 6 months or so. So I do all of our new construction and our moves, and then our fulfillment and our customer service. So kind of ops. That's a really long way to say I do ops. This is ops. But the fun part about it is being a sustainability professional doing ops, because you really get to do all of those things through the lens of the sustainability science and the sustainability background, and trying to really take that mission and have it be reflected into each of these parts of the business. A few of our more sustainability-focused initiatives that we've been able to accomplish. One is ref recycling. So it's basically like a take-back program, so a way for customers to easily, conveniently get rid of the stuff that they don't want to use anymore. Most of the people in this room would probably never dream of throwing clothing away. You have like your donation center, you know how to manage it. A lot of people in the US still throw stuff away, about 70 pounds of stuff a year. So we basically created a portal. People can send their stuff back directly to one of our recycling partners, and they can even track their impact and track exactly where it ends up. So there's sort of a nice tech component and story to that as well. RevScale was our kind of internal organic life cycle assessment tool. So we track at the SKU level the estimated water use, carbon impact, and starting next week, our material waste footprint for everything we make. We post that on our product page. We also are launching next week for Earth Week a kind of customer interactive portal where they can track their impact of all their purchases. So instead of a loyalty program that's around how much you spend, it'll be on how much you save in terms of the environment. And then we really just try to tell the story in terms of the impact of fashion. So we make clothes, we sell clothes. We're inherently a part of that too, but really trying to bring our customers along with that. Talk to them about garment care, which ends up being a huge part of the impact of the clothing, and really focus on behavioral changes and easy, actionable things for our customers to participate in. So in terms of that engagement, I think some of the undergrad folks that I met earlier that know the brand said, like, your Instagram's so good. Our Instagram's pretty good. You can follow it. And we do a lot of fashion images, but we also do what we call internally our eco tips and really try to tell the brand story and have that be a platform for engagement. Everything from even our order confirmation. It says you're so carbon neutral and you didn't know it, and it shows the REF scale impact and describes too that you're not just saving this compared to conventional fashion, but any impact we do have on water and carbon we're offsetting as a brand. So really trying to have the conversation about embedded resource use, which is really hard to do with a clothing brand, but trying to make it relatable and make it top of mind for our customers. And that's kind of it. Thanks.
So anyone looking for the new 2015-16 line, just make sure to talk to Katie after this. And when you want to go after Sustainable Seville Row, let all the gentlemen in the room know. I'm sure we'll be right behind you.